We are not doctors. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as medical advice. Consult your physician before starting any workout routine. This is the Martial Heart Podcast.
And good morning, everybody. It is 23 days post heart attack, 23 days after August 11th, when, my world changed dramatically because my heart tried to murder me. And this daily diary that I'm going to try to keep up with daily is still going. Yep. So here's something. I try to do this every day so that I can record what changes are happening, what feelings are happening, what physical symptoms are happening, to try to keep track, because this is what it's doing for me or to me as my recovery goes on. And so what happens is you think you're doing okay. You feel fine. You feel strong. You feel like you have energy. This morning, this nausea thing, I think, is just my life now, because it doesn't seem to matter what I do. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's better, but I ate a full breakfast. I actually did more this morning for breakfast than I normally would when I took my medications to see, is that going to stop the nausea? And it seems like it postpones the nausea, because at first you think, hey, this is all right. Maybe I found the solution, and I don't feel nauseous yet, so that's okay. Maybe I solved this riddle. And then half hour, 45 minutes later, the nausea hits you. So it's like eating more for breakfast or eating more when you're taking this medication just postpones the nausea. It doesn't eliminate it. It fools you for a few minutes or a little while, maybe an hour at most, but then it hits you anyway. So that's where I was, and I was kind of accepting that, because other than the nausea, I felt fine. I felt okay this morning. I felt energetic, sort of. I wasn't going to go hit the gym or anything, but I felt like I had energy. I felt like I had a decent night's sleep, even though I wake up 2 or 3, 4 times in the middle of the night, which is fairly normal for me. But it's been the last couple of nights I've had a decent night's sleep, and so I felt pretty good. And I'm playing around with my recording equipment, which, I don't know, we're gonna have to talk about recording equipment, maybe after I explain this. But okay, the real world. Hey, I had to pee. All right, so I got up, went to the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, and right as I sat down in this seat to sit down and get ready to record this, I got hit with lightheadedness, with nausea, and what else? I mean, I got shaky, and I almost started to panic a little bit, because they were like mild versions of some of the symptoms I had when I started having a heart attack. And so this is the anxiety that you have to live with now, I guess, until you become comfortable with your health and your recovery, because at this point I have no idea. I haven't seen the cardiologist. I haven't been to the rehab, the cardiac rehab thing. I haven't had anyone actually tell me what the condition of my heart currently is, or what my current health is, or how we're going to get everything back on track, and what the prognosis might be. So until that happens, I guess you just kind of have to live with this anxiety of, holy shit, am I having another heart attack? And I'm not having a heart attack. I'm able to recognize that at the moment, that that's not what's happening. But briefly, I had that panic moment where I'm like, okay, I'm at home by myself because everybody else has to have a life. Everybody else has to go back to their normal routine. Everybody has to go back to work, including me. I eventually have to go back to work or, go bankrupt or whatever. I don't know. But anyhow, so I'm at home by myself. It's just me. And up here where I'm recording is just me and the cat. And I don't think the cat's going to care if I fall over dead in my chair this morning. Cats are just like that. They don't give a shit. So here I am. And when I started having those symptoms, like really briefly, my brain went, oh, shit, I'm going to die in here. And nobody's going to know because am I going to even have time to call 911? And, okay, overreaction. I get it. I'm overreacting to those symptoms that hit me because those symptoms are not that peculiar. It's just been a few days since they hit me really hard like that. So I got comfortable with hey, I'm doing fine. I'm not having these, the lightheadedness. I'm not having the weakness anymore, and I'm doing great. So I'm recovering. Haven't started the physical road to recovery yet, but as far as exercising my heart and doing the cardiac rehab, but things are improving, and I'm happy about that. And that's where I was until this hit me just a few minutes ago, and then your brain just starts to freak out, and you're like, holy crap. Here we go again, back to square one. And no, it's not back to square one. It lasted for a few minutes, and it passed. I don't know, maybe I stood up too fast, maybe I did something, I don't know. But I just took my medication a couple of hours ago, so, it's still racing through my system, giving me all those weird nausea symptoms and everything else. So I may have just tried to do a little too much first thing in the morning. But, so you do have those panic moments, I guess. I don't know if that's normal for everyone who's had a heart attack, where for a while you just sort of think, oh, shit, I'm having another heart attack. Or you're just afraid of, okay, I'm in this situation now. I'm driving down the road now, and, I'm commuting. I'm on my way to work, or I'm going to the grocery store. Do you forever have these anxieties and these questions of, wow, what if I have a heart attack right now? Because you didn't expect to have a heart attack in the first place. I know I didn't. Even though I had peripheral artery disease and I had evidence that there was clogging that had occurred years before that in my femoral artery. I don't know if I told you about that, but back when I went through the whole peripheral artery thing a couple of years ago, the femoral artery in my right leg had been completely blocked for a number of years, and my arteries and veins had already found a new path around the blockage. So it wasn't anything new, according to the doctors. It was something, that happened before, and my body had already started correcting it, and, that doesn't happen overnight. So even though there was evidence of those things happening, and I told my children, you need to get checked for these things early, because there's now a pretty definitive family history of arterial issues like clogs, clots, stroke, heart attacks. My kids, your granddad had a stroke, at least one stroke, may have had more than one. Your dad now has suffered at the time it was just peripheral artery disease, but I'm like, my arteries are clogging, and now I've had a heart attack. And hey, your uncle also had heart issues and now has a pacemaker and had to have an angioplasty done a number of years ago. So listen, this is obviously something that's in your bloodline. So you need to stay on top of this now while you're young, and make sure you do the right things and make sure you're having the proper kind of checkups done as you get older, to make sure that you can avoid having these issues that we've had. So it's now something that you're just going to have to deal with. You have to keep conscious of those things. But I never thought I was going to have a heart attack. I just didn't. I was too strong. I was too active. There was nothing wrong with my heart. And actually, there isn't anything wrong with my heart. It's the arteries that feed the blood to my heart. But that's where we are today. Just thought I would keep everyone posted on my progress, on how it feels. So I don't know how long that's going to go on. Every time something, I start to feel a little, tired or whatever, am I going to just go, crap, here we go again. Do I need to call the doctor or call 911 or whatever? I don't know. I'm sure that'll pass. Maybe the whole, anxiety and fear will, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll lessen as time goes by. But that's the way it was this morning. So now, this podcasting thing. And I've done a couple of videos, and I'm going to do a couple of more videos. But the things that I'm learning, there's nobody out there who just goes, hey, this is what you need to do if you're going to set up a podcast, and you're just going to do it, on the cheap in your house. You're not going to buy a recording studio or time in a recording studio. You're not going to build a sound booth in your house. All of these other things. And, a few years ago, I was trying to do some voiceover stuff and trying to do some audiobook stuff. And I couldn't get everything to work correctly. And it was incredibly time-consuming. So I just couldn't do it. But there isn't somebody out there who just says, really, this is all you need. This is all you need to do right here. And it's fairly simple. Like, I had a really high-quality microphone. It's a condenser microphone that requires the 48-volt phantom power. And I wound up buying 2 of those and an audio interface and setting things up and trying to, set things up to where I can interview people and we can both sit down at the table. And it's fairly mobile. There's not a lot of equipment involved. I mean, I can take it where I need to go. But nobody bothered to tell me that a condenser microphone was literally the wrong kind of microphone for podcasting. It's literally the wrong kind of microphone for recording anything that's not in a sound booth or a legitimate recording studio, because that's what they're built for. They're not built for live performances. They're not built for just recording on the fly out in public. They're not built for that sort of thing. They're professional microphones that are meant to be inside a recording studio. So I now have 2 of those, and they're useless to me at this point. They sound great. If you can get the sound dampened around you and get it tuned just right, they sound beautiful. They're beautiful microphones. But they pick up everything. They pick up the sound of talking in quiet tones downstairs in my house. It can pick up voices from the television downstairs in my house and sounds outside of my house. But that's what a condenser microphone does. So a dynamic microphone, like the one I'm speaking into right now, is really what you need. And then you don't have to worry so much about sound treatments around you. Yeah, you should try to do some, and I'm probably going to do some. But right now, there is no sound treatment in this room whatsoever. I have the curtains pulled, and that's it. And the sound quality is still pretty damn good, even though, and guess what? This was a $35 microphone, and I have no sound treatment in this room. And I'm just using my old laptop. And I purchased a different audio interface so that it can run 2 microphones. And that thing was $23. So a $35 roughly microphone and a $23, I think it was, audio interface that connects through a USB to my laptop is all I'm using right now. And it sounds pretty good. I don't know. You guys can let me know if you think it sounds pretty good. But right now, I'm going to leave you with that. Until next time, everyone be safe and take care.